Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning how to create a database and a table in the database using my SQL server. Before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to also like each of my videos and also feel free to leave a question on the comment section and it will be attended to. So if you've installed SQL Server in your system like mine, so we'll just go headway to launch my SQL. So my SQL is launched. It prompts me to connect to the database engine. So I'm going to click on connect. Now it has connected successfully. So I'll come right here, click on new query. Of course, you know I have to create my database first before I create my table because it is the database that houses the table. So for us to create our database, we're going to make use of the keyword create. Which object am I creating? I'm creating a database. Then what is the name of my database? Let's say I want to call my database my school. That's the name I want to call my database. Then I'm going to put a semicolon to close the statement. Then I click on execute. Now here we have a message saying command completed successfully. Okay, now that we have created our database, the next thing we're going to do is to create a table in our database. Of course, in my school we can have entities like students, we can have entities like teachers, we can have entities like the courses the students offer. Now we can also have entities like the class, because the class is like a meeting point where the student and the teachers meet to learn a particular course that is being offered. Okay, I'm going to click on new query again and I'm going to create my table. Okay, I'm going to create. What am I creating this time? I'm creating a table. What is the name of my table? The name of my table is student. So I want to create a table that will help me store student information. Okay, the syntax says I'm going to open and close a bracket. Now it is it is a very good convention that whenever you open the bracket you close it immediately so that you won't forget. So I'm going to place my cursor in the middle, hit the enter key, and now I begin to specify my fields. Of course, you know that a student should have a student ID, and this student ID I'm going to make it of data type char. I'm going to specify it to be 5. Then come outside here, put a comma. Then I'm going to also have a student name. That's every student should have an attribute called name. Yeah, then I'm going to make it varchar. Then I'm going to specify it to be, let's say, 15 characters. Okay, then a student should also um, have a particular let's say level, or should belong to a particular department. Okay, let's leave it as level. A student should belong to a particular level. Okay, in level I'm gonna make my level to also be varchar. Then I'm also going to specify level to be 10. Then what other attribute can a student have? Okay, a student should have a student ID, a student name, a level where the student belongs to. Let's say if my school runs different program, then we should have a particular program where the student will be found. So student program should be another attribute under student. I'm going to make student program to be varchar. Okay, there are tons of attributes a student should have, but I'm going to stop here. Let me specify my program to be 10 characters. Now remember I said that um, the student's ID is going to be our primary key. Now in case you're wondering what primary key is that unique attribute or that unique field that uniquely identifies each instance or each record of a particular entity or table. Okay, for me to make my student ID the primary key, I'm going to type the word constraint. That spelling is not correct. Constraint. Then constraint, I'm going to give a label for my primary key. Let's say I'm going to call it pk underscore student to show that this is the primary key for student. Then I'm going to bring in the keyword primary key. Then I'm going to open the bracket, and inside the bracket I'm going to pass in the particular field that I want to use as a primary key. So the field that I want to use as a primary key is my student ID. Now my student ID being the primary key cannot have duplicate values. Okay, so now that I am done doing my table, the next thing I have to do is to click on execute. But before you click on execute, remember that the database that we want to create this table in is our my school database. So if you look at here, what is selected here is master database. So you click on this drop down here and select my school. Then now you can click on execute, and when you click on execute, it will tell you command completed successfully. So that means that we have successfully created a table inside my school database. Okay, you might be wondering, is this the only way that is, or is this the only way we can specify um, primary key in when creating table? Okay, I think there's another way we can do that. Let's click on new query. Let's create another table whereby we're going to specify primary key in another way. Okay, I'm going to call this particular table the course table. Okay, this particular table is going to help us to hold all the courses that our student is going to offer. Remember the convention: we open and close the bracket, we put our semicolon, come in between the bracket and hit the enter key. Then we begin to specify the fields for the course. Now we're going to have something like a course code. A course code is going to be unique. It's going to be unique. Course code, I'm going to make it to be char, and I'm going to specify it to be 5 characters. Okay, I'm going to put my comma. I'm going to come back down here. We can have the course title. The course title, I'm going to make my course title to be varchar. Okay, varchar. I can pass let's say 20 to it. Okay, then another attribute I can that my course table can have can be, let's say we can have course credit load as a credit load of the course. Okay, this should be one word. Course credit load, let me make it one word. Okay, then I'm going to, let me say I'm going to make it varchar. Most times you can make it to be int, but since in later videos we are going to try to convert data type, or we're going to try to change data type, so let me leave it as varchar. Then I'm going to specify it to be 3. Okay, another thing that okay, let's just leave these 3 attributes. Now remember how we specified the first primary key, but this time around I'm going to specify primary key in a different way. I'm going to just come here because this is the field I want this course code to be my primary key. So I'm going to put space here and type primary key. So by so doing, I have made this particular field, or this particular attribute of the course table my primary key. If I click on execute, it's going to say execution or command completed successfully. Okay, I can view what is in my table, or the fields in my table. Okay, let me control X this. Let me do select. What am I selecting? I'm selecting asterisk. Select asterisk simply means I want to select everything, all from the table. Select asterisk from course as the name of our table, semicolon. Then I'm going to execute. Now you see these are the fields that we created. Now, why we are just seeing the heading of the columns, sorry, the heading of the columns or the heading of the field, is because we have not entered any instance, we've not entered any record. So by the time we enter record, we'll start seeing each of our record one by one. Now, one thing I also need to tell you is that in my SQL server, or sorry, in SQL server, whether you close your statement with semicolon or you don't close, your query is going to execute. So let us also view the student table, and this time I'm going to view the student table without the semicolon. So if I click on execute, you can see I can see all the fields in my student table. Okay, thank you for watching this video. In our next video, we are going to learn how to insert values into our table, into one table and into multiple tables. Thank you for watching. Once again, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. God bless you.